60-something. I'm still in my 40s. Hi, and welcome to the SaVeg Podcast.
I'm Rose, also known as Cheap Lazy Vegan on YouTube.
And I'm Daniel, one of your favorite guest stars on Cheap Lazy Vegan's YouTube channel.
We're two friends who love to talk about the latest trending topics.
So get comfortable and join us while we give our SaVeg take on just about everything.
You are currently listening to the previous episode of this podcast, but if you would like to listen to this week's episode and get some exclusive content, go over to patreon.com/thesavagepodcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to
Welcome back
to another episode of the SaVeg Podcast. Rose has cracked into the wine, clearly.
We be drinking tea, Daniel. Daniel,
true.
people already got thinking that I be an alcoholic.
Did you see that comment?
I did. We talked about it already.
know.
You can't be telling people that. God
I know.
damn.
It's so true. It's so true. Oh,
Guys,
God.
I'll have you know that I cannot drink that much anymore, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Seriously. Even on my birthday, we didn't drink that much.
No, we didn't actually.
We
were
actually
definitely...
left, Daniel, we are so old that we left a little bit of wine left in that bottle.
That's true, actually.
Uh-huh.
The old Daniel and Rose. Oh,
Would never. We
That
would have
would be-
cracked open the two other bottles I have left over.
Well, this is the thing. I was saying this to Rose the other day, and I was like, I feel like
What do you feel like,
I
Daniel?
feel like when you can legitimately have bottles of alcohol at your house
Yep.
that last, you're an adult.
You're an adult.
Yes.
Oh, so I'm an adult.
You're an adult now.
Because I have a fridge full of alcohol. I have a wine rack. There's at least 2 bottles on there.
Yeah.
And I haven't touched it for weeks.
Exactly. And think, 20-year-old Rose, that
Would
would not
never.
be the case. Okay, this would be empty.
This
There
is
would be
why
no
old
wine.
people have a wine rack like
Exactly.
I do.
Young people, like, think about it. When we were in our early 20s, we didn't have no fucking wine rack.
We didn't even drink wine. We drank $5 wine from Tesco.
Exactly. But like we would buy wine for the occasion.
Yes.
If we even got wine as a gift, it would be gone.
Yes, it's true.
Like if you think about it.
That's why when I got a wine rack, which was actually a few years ago, I like could not keep it filled.
Exactly.
I was like, why did I even get one?
Yeah.
My friend's like, why do you have a wine rack? I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah. You're like, I wanted to have one.
It's to store in my wine glass.
Yeah, because essentially, but I do feel like that's part of growing up,
Oh
right?
my
Like,
God.
'cause
We're
in
like adults?
yeah.
Ew. I don't
'cause-
like it.
I know. Because like when I was like younger, it's like whatever, if I was going out, I'd be pre-drinking whatever was in my
Yes.
house. Like nothing lasted. Alcohol
Yeah.
would not last.
Yeah.
It's like
one
even,
day we're gonna be one of those people that have like a cabinet full of spirits.
like a liquor,
Like a liquor cabinet?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And we'll be those people that can have like a little glass of this,
Yes.
and it will
Would
just
you like
last.
an old fashioned, you know?
Yeah.
I'll make you an old fashioned, Daniel.
I'll make an espresso martini or something for
God.
you.
Okay. I don't think we're that fancy ever.
No.
Anyway.
It'll be more like I got this nice wine if you want to try it, Rose. It'd be from Kelowna.
God damn, you got wine from Kelowna?
I do.
You gonna keep it until I come back?
I might have already had it.
Of course you're gonna get me a bottle. Anyways.
Did you get me a bottle when you went to Kelowna?
Didn't I get you a bottle?
No, but I think we drank some of it at your house. So I mean that's
that counts.
yeah.
At least we drank it together.
Yeah, but I think that to me, and I know that might sound sad to some people listening to this, but that to me, I was like, ooh, like in my fridge right now, I actually have some.
That's a shocker, Daniel.
I have some Trulies.
You still be a
you know what?
bit of a child, you know.
And I had my wine from Kelowna for a while until I decided to drink it.
And you got back from Kelowna when, Daniel? 2 weeks ago?
It was not 2 weeks ago, Rose.
It was about 2 weeks ago.
It's like 3 weeks ago.
Okay, fine.
I only got. Oh, did I have 2 bottles? Oh, but one of them, my friend came over because I got this. Oh my
Uh-huh.
God, I'm like obsessed with ice wine.
Oh, it's so expensive.
It is expensive.
Ice wine's so expensive.
I might have
Why is it
splurged.
so expensive?
It's because hear me out here.
Is there a process?
There's a process.
Tell me
so
the process.
Apparently, with ice wine, and I'm so proud of myself as well. I went to a wine tasting, guys.
Yes.
And I actually remember the wine tasting.
Oh, look at you.
Because normally, not like normally, but like I went.
Normally.
I went to other wine tastings, and you start trying the wine, and one wine leads to another wine, leads to another wine, and the next thing you know, you drunk.
Well, we'll know when we're fully grown when people start spitting out their wine.
That is blasphemy.
That's blasphemy. I'm sorry. That should never be allowed. Continue.
Anyway, you got to enjoy it. It's part of the process.
Yeah, but
Rose.
apparently people do that. You know, they're like, "Oh, I'm just gonna taste it."
I don't like this wine.
Well, they taste it and spit it out because they don't want to get drunk. I'm like, what's the point of drinking? Why are you drinking the wine?
I forgot
Sorry,
what
you went to the wine tasting.
Oh yeah, right. So I went to the wine tasting. This is about ice wine.
Yes.
So you notice that ice wine. First of all, they're in really small bottles.
They're so tiny.
They're like because
they're like skinny little bottles.
Yeah. So I got a skinny bottle, and I
How much was it?
I think it was like $70.
Okay, that's actually relatively cheap for the ice wine. Because some of the ones I've seen, it was like $150, $200.
Yeah. So
I'm like, bitch.
I know it was crazy. So even 70, I was like, whoa, because all the other wines were like
lot.
50, like this kind of. Then it was like 70. Anyway, and I had a friend come over, and we had a glass of ice wine, and just 2 glasses, and that was like basically the whole bottle was gone.
Oh,
because it's so narrow and skinny.
Yeah.
So anyway, long story short, though, the reason why, at least this is what they said at the vineyard, there's a process for ice wine. So the way ice wine works is they leave the grapes on the vine. They don't actually pick them, and they leave them on the vine for a while. And what they need to happen is they need to have 5 consecutive days where the temperature is below, I believe it's like -8.
Okay.
So it has to be like quite cold, and it has to stay like that for 5 days. And apparently when the temperature is that cold, it like crystallizes or does something to the grapes where they like become extra like sweet.
Oh.
And then they pick them. But the thing is, you get a lot less juice from them.
Ah.
So you need like, because like they were saying, when you make regular wine, you need like a bunch of grapes is equal to like a glass.
Okay.
When you make ice wine, you need like, I don't know, double the amount of grapes to make like such a small quantity.
Oh, interesting.
So that's why it's a bit more expensive. And I also think just because the process as well, they have to leave the grapes, pick it after 5 days of consecutive -5 or -8 or whatever it was below. And the problem is sometimes they don't get that cold weather.
Right.
And it has to be consecutive because like, I don't know, it does something with the grapes, right?
Right. Because it could melt it and, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time there might be like, 3 days and then the 4th day it doesn't. Or you know what I mean? So it has to be this like perfect condition. So some seasons they don't even get ice wine.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Look at you learning something from
I
the
know,
wine
right, guys? I
tasting.
actually learned something.
But do you think it's worth it? Did you enjoy it?
Oh, it was so good.
Really?
I just
think
love
it's too sweet sometimes.
Yeah, but I think this is the reason why you get such small. Well, one, because it's expensive to make, but when you drink it, it's really, you just have a small
dessert
amount.
wine.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's a dessert wine, and I only had a little bit. Like we had like I say a glass. We only put a little bit in each glass.
Sure.
And it was more like you just kind of sip it.
See, I'm not this sophisticated, you know.
It was quite nice.
Yeah. Well, you know, you should get port wine. I really like port wine.
Oh yeah, port's good.
Because it's still expensive. Don't get me wrong, but it's not it's not ice wine expensive.
Yeah.
But it's like so tasty.
Did you have port in Porto?
I had a little too much port in Porto.
Did you?
Well,
Oh,
I was like 21 when I was in Porto, or 22 or something. So I was very young.
I thought you went when we were in London.
No, I went to Lisbon when we were in London.
I remember you going to Lisbon.
But I went to Porto when I was when I was in my Italy exchange.
Okay, yeah.
So I had gone with my friend, and of course we're very young, and we like to party.
Yeah.
And we hadn't even heard of port wine before.
Yeah.
So port wine, if you don't know, is like the wine that they make, I think specifically in Porto.
Yeah.
Where they're not allowed, like they call it Porto they call it port wine.
Yeah.
And I think they're only allowed to call it, it's kind of like champagne, where it's like if it's made there.
In the Champagne region.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like it has to be made in Porto for it to be called like port wine. Otherwise, it's like not real port wine.
Like how ridiculous are we as society? You know what I mean? Like, only if the grapes are grown in the region of Champagne can it be properly called champagne? It's like, okay, guys, like calm down.
And like low key, champagne's not that great.
No, I know. I don't even really like champagne that much.
Or maybe we've never had real champagne.
I know. It's just blasphemy. You've had it from the wrong regions. They can't even call that garbage champagne. Absolutely stupid.
What is this Prosecco?
I know.
It's disgusting.
Like it blows my mind.
Stupid.
We're such a pretentious society.
I know,
like,
we're so dumb. And that's not even that ridiculous.
I know.
Like some of the things we do are so dumb. Anyway, so port wine has to be from Porto.
Yeah.
And we went for this wine tasting, and we were like amazed. At this time, I didn't even drink wine a lot because I was young. I was like I just wanted to drink to get drunk. I didn't understand the deliciousness. Anyway, I did not understand the deliciousness of wine just yet.
Yeah.
But when we were drinking port wine, we're like, oh my God, this is like so good. It's like sweet. You know, when you're young, you like the sweet drinks.
Of course.
So we're like, oh my God, it's so sweet.
I still like them.
And like, I know you're still a child. Anyway, so we got like a bottle or something. Like we probably each got a bottle, and then of course you're supposed to drink it as like a dessert wine.
Yeah.
And of course we drank it all in one night and got completely wasted.
Well, and also because I think it's stronger.
It's stronger. It's like that's another thing. We're like, this is the best thing ever because it's sweet and it's stronger. And it was like I think it's like 20%.
That sounds like a horrible hangover.
We were so fucking drunk. I can't remember the hangover.
Yeah.
I mean,
I can't remember, but
you were
I was
21.
very,
so probably
very
you woke
drunk.
up and went for a jog. You know?
No, my hangovers were bad, but I also drank a lot more when I was younger.
True. Oh,
Anyway, guys,
God.
oh my gosh, tangent.
A little bit of a tangent.
So today we're doing another pre-recordation.
We are doing another pre-recordation.
Because I'll be going on a trip.
Another trip, guys. If you haven't caught the last episode,
Yes, which you should have.
You should have. But in case you didn't, Rose is off in Korea. She actually will be in Korea when this episode gets released.
Yee.
I'll
be in my motherland.
Yeah, maybe.
So check my Instagram stories.
Exactly.
So today we are doing another segment of
Am I the Asshole?
Am I the Asshole? Our favorite series.
So good, guys. It just brings up so many like topics that we can talk about as well.
We actually need to do this like as part of our regular rotation, like you said.
I think we should.
Or like any sort of other subreddits, like Reddit threads. It's so much fun to like.
Well, it's because the thing is, I think it does kind of fit in with our brand of the podcast too, though.
Yeah.
Because we do talk about like current and topical events, and a lot of these like Am I the Asshole have like underlying themes. Societal themes that we talk about. Like a lot of them are around a marriage, around relationships, around spending money, around all this stuff, which is stuff that we often talk about on this podcast. So I think maybe like we can obviously discuss this offline, but maybe it's something, guys, that we do like once a month. We'll throw in an Am I the Asshole? Or again, if we're going on trips and stuff, then
we'll pre-record
because I have holidays as well coming up at some point, Rose.
And when would that be, Daniel? What exactly have you planned?
I haven't planned anything yet. So, I'm going to San Francisco to see my friend, which I'm really excited. And then I still have a week of holidays left.
Like are you not allowed to roll it over?
No, it doesn't get rolled over. So I have to take it. So I'm going to go somewhere.
Are you going to go somewhere?
Yeah, why not?
You're not going to stay in this lovely city.
Maybe I'll do a trip to...
Maybe you'll go to Champagne and France.
Maybe I will. I'll do like...
And have some real champagne.
Real champagne. Maybe I'll go to Spain for a week.
It's kind of far, Daniel.
I know.
It's just... I always complain about Europe in this way. It's just a tiny bit too far.
I know. Because I'm thinking like, it'd be really nice to go visit all my old teachers.
Yeah,
and, like,
I mean, you could go. Honestly, people do it. Okay?
I know people
do
it.
We have this in our head, like it's too far.
I'm always like, if I go to Europe, it always has to be for 2 weeks minimum.
I mean, it makes sense, but at the same time,
there are people that do week trips.
Yeah,
though.
I mean,
some people like go like down to Argentina for a week.
No, totally. Because like when I did the Thailand and Vietnam tours, some people just came just for that week.
Yeah.
And then they went back.
Yeah.
So it's like it is short. Don't get me wrong.
It is, yeah.
But we did pack a lot in those weeks.
So I could do it.
You could do it.
Yeah, maybe I will.
So maybe you will. Anyways, so if you don't know, Am I the Asshole is a subreddit. If you don't know what a subreddit is, it is a Reddit thread. And if you don't know what a Reddit thread is,
where have you been all your life?
Yeah.
No,
have you not spent any time on the internet? No, it is like an internet forum where people just kind of discuss things.
Yeah.
And basically, Am I the Asshole is like a thread under the Reddit website where
Rose,
people...
Am I the asshole?
Well, Daniel, I'm not sure if you want to hear the truth.
Guys.
Basically, it's a thread where people write whatever story, something going on in their lives, and they ask the audience, Am I the asshole? And we will tell you if they are being the asshole or not.
Yes.
Because we are the authorities.
Well, we have a lot of, authority in this matter, don't we?
Yes, exactly.
We dealing with a lot of assholes and dealing with each other. So...
God damn.
Damn.
I didn't realize it's SaVeg hour.
It is. The library's officially open, guys. I'm going to go get my reading glasses. Rose, you better be ready.
So I already picked one.
Okay, let's hear it.
So the thing is, we read this entire thing out, and then we have to say what we think.
We discuss.
So, am I the asshole for asking my friend if she was going to get a real job soon? Brackets, she's self-employed. This hits home.
Oh, gosh.
Okay, are we ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
My friend Emma and I, both female, 29 years old, have met at university 10 years ago. After graduation, Emma decided to pursue her master's and I started working, got married and was blessed with 2 children. God damn, 29 with 2 children? Lord Jesus. Around 5 years ago, Emma decided that working standard 9 to 5 is not for her. She finished her master's because she enjoyed it, but never entered workforce beyond working in a fast food place during uni. Instead, she started her own, and in quotations, she wrote, small business, and have been doing that ever since. Honestly, I have no idea how she supports herself, though. She always has time to do her language class or go swimming or to the gym or hanging out with her friends. Except for November to December when she falls off the face of the earth, claiming she's swamped with work, which I highly doubt. She says that she sells stuff on online platforms and her website, and that's how she makes money. I mean, sure, I've seen her website, but I doubt people are buying handmade trinkets so much so that she can live off of it. To each their own, but it annoys me a bit when she says that she's working so hard and yet she always has free time. It makes people like me look bad. I have a part-time job and 2 kids who can't just pursue their hobbies. And even if it were true, I wish she wasn't so in your face about it all the time, about all of this, because it's insensitive to all of us who have to work harder. Long story short, I was able to hang out with my friends when my husband was babysitting kids last night. We were chatting about our future plans, lives, etc. And I asked Emma if she was going to find a real job because sitting at home doing fuck all while pursuing hobbies was cute and quirky at 25, but it's not at 30 and it was time to grow up. She told me she has a real job, to which I replied that sitting at home playing shop does not constitute a job. She replied that compared to me, she has a real job. I called her insensitive because part-time job with 2 kids is more than full-time job. She called me an asshole and my friends agreed. I was angry about that and cut my evening short. When I got home, my husband agreed with me, saying she was still a kid with no responsibilities and said she was the asshole and my friends were assholes for enabling her. He suggested I should stop seeing them because they treat me like crap. I was venting to my sister this morning, thinking that she'll be on my side like my husband, but surprisingly, she was on Emma's side. She told me that I was way out of line and shouldn't listen to my husband. She doesn't like him. At this point, I need impartial opinion because people in my life are split about this, so asking here seems like a good idea. Am I the asshole for asking my friend if my friend was planning on getting a real job?
So much to unpack here. Oh,
what's your initial reaction?
Okay, my initial reaction, first of all, I'm like, okay, if your friend is self-employed and, you know, yes, it might seem like they're doing a lot of things, like she's going to yoga class and doing whatever, but like, what is it your place to tell them like that's not a real job? Like, clearly, if that job is making them enough money, even if, and this is the misconceived. There's so much I want to say, guys.
Let's answer. Is she an asshole?
Yes.
Yes.
I think she's the asshole.
100,000%.
But I think part of it is it's not misguided. But what I wanted to say is,
yes.
I think we as a society generally, and it's not any fault of our own, it's just kind of like what we've been fed. But what we've been fed is like, you know, a real quote unquote real
yeah.
job. You work X number of hours. You know, you get a salary. You do whatever else. And same for like people that are self-employed. The idea or the concept is, if you're not working every minute of every hour of the day, you're not working hard. The thing is, and we've talked about this in this podcast before, there's a different thing. There's not a standard like you work this much time, you get this much money, right?
Yeah.
Especially with like businesses and stuff. It's like, you know what? I could start a business and this would be amazing if I do. And there's people that do this, that start very successful businesses where they don't have to work every hour of the day. Maybe they only work 3-4 hours a day. I mean, it's the dream. It's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Instead of turning around and being like, hey, like you need to get a real job. Well, clearly if whatever they're doing is supporting their lifestyle, and if they're not requesting money from you or anyone else, and they're able to pay for all their shit all the time, I would say good for you.
And mind your own fucking business.
Exactly. What does it matter? It's different if you have a friend that's like we were saying before in a different episode.
Yeah, if they like were wanting to borrow money.
Exactly. Like I can't make this. She keeps referring to her friend's job as like a hobby or whatever else. I'm like, well, it sounds like your friend's supporting herself fine.
Yeah. It's not like she's asking you for money. It's not like she's freeloading off of you.
Exactly. Like, you know what, guys?
She sounds just jealous.
I know.
To be honest.
100%.
She sounds a bit like bitter.
Exactly. Well, and she even commented, she was like, and I don't like when people say this. I'm not going to downplay her experience, that obviously if you have 2 kids, a family,
I was going to comment on that.
It's a lot. It's a lot to take on, right? And working a part-time job. That being said, there's lots of people in that exact situation that still pursue what they want to do or pursue other things. Don't let that hold you back. I have friends, for example, one of my really close friends went back to school when she had 2 kids, a house, all this stuff. People can do it. It's like and don't get me wrong. for that,
It's harder.
It's
for
harder.
sure.
Like when I went to university, I had no responsibilities, right?
Yeah.
So much easier for me. For my friend that has a kid, 2 kids and a house and a husband, for her to go, it becomes a lot harder. But
also you made that decision to have children.
Exactly.
So you need to like,
You need to
I
own
hate
up
when
for it.
people have kids and then they're like, oh, you people without kids, you have no responsibilities.
You don't understand.
You don't understand. Like, I get it, but you chose to have kids.
Yeah.
So that's your decision.
Exactly. And I think that these kind of people where they're like, oh, I just, because I have these 2 kids and because I have this part-time job, I can't do anything else. What's going to happen is those people are going to build up resentment for their children.
Yeah.
And then be like, well, it's because of you I had to sacrifice all these things. I'm like, no.
Bitch, you had me.
Exactly. Well, and also, but that's a choice that you've made, right?
Yes.
And again, I'm not saying that it is harder once you have kids, of course, but like those are choices that you've made. And if you do have something that you really want to pursue, even if you have kids, you can fucking do it.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
That's
and
what-
it's also not on your friend to make you feel better about it.
exactly. And like, you know what? If I have a friend that's making, that's supporting themselves, making so much money, and they're only having to work like 15 hours a week, I'm going to be asking them, what the fuck are you doing? Because I want a job there.
And also, how do you know? Are you spending 24 hours with her?
But that's another thing too.
That's
Yeah.
the thing. That's what pisses me off. It's like, do you actually know exactly what her day-to-day schedule is like? How do you know she's not waking up at 5 a.m. and working on it for 5 hours and then going to her yoga classes
Exactly.
and then doing her other stuff? And how do you know she's not working on the weekend when other people aren't working? How do
Exactly.
you know? Like, you don't know. It doesn't, like, websites don't make themselves. Like,
Yeah.
and maybe she found a way to hack the system, but like, you know what?
Yeah.
That's just how it is. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like, maybe you should have figured that out too. Don't be fucking like, what the hell? Who is this person?
I know. It's just like frustrating because it's like, again, who are you to comment on what's a real job and what's not? Ultimately, at the end of the day, if you're making money, you're supporting yourself, you know what? That's a job.
Yeah.
And you can't downplay it, like, and just be like, oh, that's not a
And
real.
I'm sorry that she
that's
has
not
hobbies.
a real job.
Again, she's very jealous. Like, she's like, oh, she always has time to do her language class or go swimming or go to the gym
And
or
this
hang
is
out with her friends. She's managing her time.
This is exactly what I was gonna say. It's not about that she has the time.
Yes.
It's that she's managing her time well.
Yes, and she is prioritizing many different things.
Exactly.
Where you prioritize having kids, which is totally fine. And I know that again doesn't mean you can't do these things, but it
Yeah.
makes it harder for sure.
I feel like I get this sometimes too, though. It's
Yeah.
like because like someone might be like,
Oh, so many people say this to us all the time.
Yeah.
How do you have time to do all this stuff? How do you have time? Because like we manage our time. Like,
exactly. We make time for these
yes.
things.
And
like,
again, we don't have kids, so obviously it makes it a little bit easier.
it definitely does. Yeah.
But like we manage our time. Like
Yeah.
we go to the gym, we work, we go traveling.
Yeah.
Okay, we still make time for friends.
Yeah.
Like, you can do it, but some people do it better than others, and that's okay. But that's
Yeah.
not her fault.
Exactly.
Like, what the fuck?
Meanwhile, you'll have some people that like, get home from work, they'll watch, and there's nothing wrong with this, guys, but like go
Oh
home,
my god, this person.
watch Netflix, chill, and then they're like, oh, I don't understand how my friends have so much time. And it's like, well, maybe if you didn't watch TV as often, you would have fucking time to do things as well. Like there's
a lot of people, they just kind of like, and again, maybe you're tired or whatever.
Yeah.
But like, a lot of people don't realize like, you could be potentially putting a little bit of time, aside to be doing a hobby.
Exactly.
A lot of times, oftentimes, it is a choice that you make.
Exactly.
Not saying it's necessarily an easy choice, but it is a choice.
Exactly.
And then I love how she's like, oh, she always has time to do all these hobbies, except for November to December when she just falls off the face of this earth, claiming she's swamped with work, which I highly doubt. How do you know? What the fuck?
I know.
So when she's doing her classes, you just assume she's not working. But then when she actually says like,
I'm busy.
I'm working.
She
Because
assumes
like
she's
that
not
makes
working.
sense. November to December, guys, guess what? That's Christmas time. That's holiday season. When you're selling things, that is when it is the busiest time.
Exactly.
So it kind of makes sense that she's probably going to fall off the face of the earth
Yeah.
if she's selling products online.
It's so crazy.
Like, are you stupid?
She just falls off the face of the earth and then she's like claims to be working.
Yeah.
It just sounds
Which
like
I doubt. She just sells stupid things online.
yeah. You
She's
can
like,
make a
you
lot
can
of money
make
selling
a
stupid
lot
shit
of money.
online.
Exactly.
Like
I'm sorry. Have you not used the internet before? People sell all kinds of shit online.
exactly. There was a whole
People
like
sell feet pictures online. You can sell anything online.
people sell farts in jars. Like we said, that girl that made $200,000. You know what?
Oh
hey,
my God.
you could work for 1 month in a year, guys. Make $200,000 selling your
Yeah.
farts in jars, and then not work the rest of the year.
Exactly.
Say sorry. You know what, Rose? During the month of March, I'm going to fall off the face of the earth.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be eating beans,
Yep.
and I'm going to make my yearly income in that month, and then the rest of the month I'm going to be doing my hobbies.
Oh my God.
Nice life.
And then, there's so much to unpack here.
Yeah.
She also said, to each their own. To each their own, really.
But
You don't
not.
seem like that's what you believe. It annoys me because she says she's working so hard, yet she always has free time. Again, it's not free time. It's the time she's allocating. The time that you decided to raise 2 kids, she decided to do something else with her time. Just different priorities.
Yeah.
It makes people look bad because I have a part-time job and 2 kids who can't just pursue their hobbies. Sounds like you don't really have hobbies, bitch, except for like worrying about your friend.
Exactly. And this is another thing though. You made a really good point. Like the thing is, you have to remember, guys, like we're not with everyone 24/7. So like obviously when I hang out with Rose, generally we'll like hang out, we'll go for a meal or something or do something. I'm not thinking in my mind like, oh, Rose is not busy because she's has time to go for dinner with me. So clearly she's not working hard and she's got all this free time. Yes. It's like, I saw her once this week. You know what I mean? What about the rest of the week?
When I post on social media, people just assume like, oh my God, like, oh, this person's like out for lunch again. Oh, they're just not working all day.
Exactly. they're just frivolously walking around doing nothing. Like seriously.
Oh my, I can't.
But also,
believe.
who is she to decide what's considered a real job and not? That's the biggest thing.
Like, what is her part-time job? I want to know.
Exactly.
Because like, I'm sure she would get pissed off if someone was like, "Well, you're just a stay-at-home mom with a part-time job."
Yeah.
And like, of course, I wouldn't say that because that is fucking a lot of work.
Yeah.
Okay, but then why are you diminishing her?
Exactly. We're not diminishing you at all. Saying, hey, you know what? And I'm sure
pissed me off.
She works really hard. She's got 2 kids and a part-time job. We're not diminishing that, but why are you diminishing your friend who probably is working really hard as well? Like, you know what I mean? You can't make that assumption to say, oh, she says she's busy, but she's not.
Okay. I wonder why she disappears November to December.
Yeah.
During the busiest times.
And again, it makes sense with what she's doing.
Exactly.
She has an online retail business. Of course, it's going to be busy before Christmas.
Yeah, are you dumb? And I love how her husband's like, oh yeah, you weren't the asshole.
But of course, it's her husband, okay? This woman sounds like she might be a little bit difficult.
Yeah.
So he's probably like, I'm just going to agree with her. We had a fight yesterday about this kind of situation. So
and I love how she's like, oh, everyone is divided in my life. And like the only person agreeing with her is like her husband.
Yeah. And
literally all her friends are like, you're an asshole.
Yeah.
And like her sister even is like, you're an asshole.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, actually, like, nope, people cannot come to an agreement.
People are so divided. And it's like probably, the
one you're married to. Yeah.
Exactly.
He's the one that's going to agree with you.
And we all know if you're in a relationship, sometimes you just agree with your partner, right?
But also you could, there's probably a reason why those 2 are married.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's see the top comment. This is my favorite part.
Oh, let's hear it.
Of course it says, you're the asshole.
Yeah.
Big, you're the asshole. Mm-hmm. Plenty of people are self-employed and they do quite well for themselves.
Exactly.
Just because you lack the creative ability or the discipline required to be self-employed does not invalidate Emma's capability. And by the way, your husband doesn't babysit. It's called parenting. Oh. Because I guess she said like, oh, my husband was babysitting.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I love how we didn't even notice that. I think your issue is that you are actually quite unhappy with your own life. Bingo.
Yeah.
And you are jealous that Emma has the freedom she does and to pursue her artistic outlets, both as a hobby and a career, while still enjoying the freedoms you now lack. There you go.
Yeah, that's what it is. That makes that's actually that's a good comment in a sense that like
you're just unhappy. You're just miserable.
She's not happy and she's like lashing out at other people.
Yeah,
right?
who
like,
are
she's
happy
like,
and enjoying their lives.
She sees someone else and she's like, well, she's obviously not working hard. She doesn't have a real job because
she looks like she's enjoying her life too much.
Exactly. Like, okay.
Somebody said, you're the asshole. You seem to equate having a real job with being miserable. There you go. She has a real job because she's supporting herself. You're really just hating on her because she seems to have found a way to support herself and have free time. You should stop seeing them though, because if you can't find it in yourself to be happy for them, then you weren't really their friend. There you go.
Exactly. It's a good point. I mean, there like we said, there's a lot to unpack in this one, guys. And I think there's so many different things. I think the unhappiness part, we didn't pick up on that as much. Like this comment really hits it on the head. It's like a lot of times people that are unhappy with their own life, they'll see somebody else succeeding and lash out at them. And again, like this whole concept of what makes a real job and what doesn't, like, again, if you're supporting yourself, in my mind, that is a real job.
And again, I want to point out, if it was a man doing what he was doing, what she was doing, would people question like, oh, is this a real job?
No, he'd be an entrepreneur.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She's just selling little things online. She's just playing shop.
This is what's crazy though. It's like, the comment just selling little things online is just so stupid to me because
let me tell you, if somebody fucking said that shit to me,
Rose, you're just cooking all day.
No. You're just playing with food all day, Rose.
Yeah.
You're just like scrolling Instagram all day.
Yeah. Like there's so much there in a sense that like, okay, again, you're not with that person 24 hours. You don't know what they're doing. And then also, like, again, like I could keep saying, but like, if your job is paying for your life, that is a fucking real job.
Yeah.
Get over yourself.
We live in capitalist world.
Yeah.
It's not about like exactly how much work you do.
If anything, I'd ask her like, hey, like,
how do you do it?
How do you do it?
Honestly, I would be inspired. I'd be like, wow, you seem to be living a really good life.
Or, you know, you sound really busy in November, December. I'm a stay-at-home mom with a part-time job that I don't like. Maybe I can come work with you and help you a bit. Fucking
she
people.
just sounds miserable. She sounds so miserable. Listen, just because you're miserable does not mean you have to make everyone around you miserable, okay? There are ways to make your life better without being a bitter old bitch.
Okay, here's one.
Oh, you found one.
Do I just...
Continue. There you go.
Perfect. Okay, guys.
Oh, are we ready?
One close to Rose's soul.
What is it?
Am I the asshole for telling my husband and brother-in-law they can't drink alcohol until my son is asleep?
Daniel, you know I'm an alcoholic. You can't be... Anyway, continue.
I'm feeding.
Okay, wait, say that again.
Until my son is asleep.
Okay.
My son is 2 and is currently going through a phase where he wants to try everything we're eating or drinking. The last time my brother-in-law and husband had alcohol in front of him, my son wanted to try some, but obviously he couldn't, so he started crying, and it took me a long time to get him to calm down. He also almost got the glass because they weren't paying close enough attention to him.
Where the fuck is he sitting?
So I told my husband and his brother that they couldn't drink until my son went to sleep yesterday because I didn't want to repeat. Neither of them were happy about this, but my brother-in-law was a lot more vocal about it. He told me I was being ridiculous and that they weren't children, so I couldn't stop them from drinking.
Oh my God.
Admittedly, the argument got more heated than it should have, and I told him I would spill all of the alcohol in the house down the sink if he tried to drink it before my son was sleeping. Am I the asshole?
A little bit. They're both. It sounds like a toxic fucking household.
It does, yeah.
First of all, like, you could have had a normal conversation. First of all, like, 2 years old. Can they talk yet? Like, what's going on? Where are you sitting that your 2-year-old is like reaching out for the glass? Like, where's your 2-year-old sitting? I don't understand this.
Well, and also
maybe just sit your child down somewhere else.
But this is what I was thinking. Like, is there not another place in the house they could go?
Or like,
just until he's in bed? Like, if they have to be like, let's say they're just like having a like random drink after work.
Do you live in one room? Like,
but that's what I mean.
A studio apartment? Like, what's going on?
Exactly. Because I'm like,
and also like, I think a 2-year-old, you're old enough to tell the 2-year-old no. Right? This
is the thing.
It's like you're not disciplining your child.
Exactly. Like, just because your child wants to have everything that everyone's drinking and eating doesn't mean that they have to.
Maybe that was the problem in the first place. You gave your child everything that they wanted.
So maybe it's time to be like, start putting your foot down with your toddler and saying, although the twos that they always say like terrible twos, but if you don't start doing this stuff now, like, it's going to become a problem later. Yeah. So instead of coddling your child
and
by
like
saying
trying to adjust everything around.
Exactly. Because they always say, this is a big mistake. They always say you shouldn't try to like coddle your children in a sense. Like, for example, like when your kid goes to sleep, it's actually detrimental to yourself to all of a sudden be like, everyone has to be super quiet. Right. There can be no noises in the house. Right. Because then the child gets used to that. And then they're going to be a really light sleeper generally, because if there's new noises that they're not used to, more likely they're going to wake up. Yeah. Versus if your child's asleep, I'm not saying you like have a house party, but like continue on normally. If you need to vacuum, if you need to watch TV, if you need to do laundry, you do these things so your kid gets used to it. So you don't have like these situations like,
So is she an asshole?
Yes. A little bit. I think it's like a little back and forth. Like, I think maybe if her husband and his brother, like, you know, maybe find a different place in the house to have a beverage if that's causing a problem.
That's
but
just
also
a weird problem. No, you know what? I'm on. Fuck that. You need to tell your toddler no.
Exactly. That's the crux of the problem. Yes. You just need to say, sorry, you can't have this. And if they have a temper tantrum, she said, oh, he got all worked up and it was hard to get him to bed. Well, yeah, but
because you keep giving him everything he wants.
Exactly. You need to be consistent with that. And then, you know, eventually, you know, it might take a while, but then you eventually wean him so that he doesn't do that anymore. Yeah. And also doesn't create a temper tantrum.
And like, do you give your kid everything you eat too? Isn't that kind of weird? Like your 2-year-old child?
Yes. But it's because again, they're like, they don't want, like, it sounds like they just don't want,
Okay. You want to read the comments?
The thing is, a lot of parents like do this. And again, I'm not a parent, so I'm not perfect. I don't know any of this shit. This is probably why I don't have kids. But like, as a parent, if you, again, coddle your children, give them everything that they want, like, they're going to be even worse when they grow up.
Yes.
Like,
are people agreeing with us? Is she an asshole?
Yes, I think so.
Oh, what are people saying?
So someone said, fellow toddler parent here, your child can handle being told no.
There you go.
Tell your husband he cannot drink in his own house purely because your child can't be told no isn't okay and makes you the asshole.
This is true. That's the thing.
Another
it's
person.
Different.
Oh, thoughts for and it sounds like a lot of people are parents in this feed.
Oh, good. So
you're the asshole. Kids need to be told no.
Yes.
You're the asshole. Sorry, if you buckle under whatever your 2-year-old has a tantrum, then you and he are gonna have a miserable time out of it.
Yes.
That's how you create a demanding brat. Just calmly let him know that you can see he's overtired and put him to bed. If he cries in bed, that's his choice.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised that the brother-in-law and the dad didn't say these things instead of saying like, I'm an adult, I can have a drink. Because I probably would have been like, well, listen, like we can't just make everything about him.
Exactly. Here's another one. You're the asshole. Everyone's saying you're the asshole.
Yeah.
Even parents. So it doesn't make me validate my assumption. You're the asshole. The parent, the toddler, not the other way around. Appreciate this may be a controversial view. I actually think it's important for kids to grow up seeing alcohol consumed in a responsible and safe way, assuming that's the case, as opposed to thinking you have to hide when you consume it.
Yes. There you go. Mm-hmm. That's another thing.
This person said a soft, you're the asshole. Kids can't always do or eat exactly what adults do.
Yes, that's weird.
I know. It's important that they know sometimes that they will be told no. Just curious, would you let your toddler take a sip of hot coffee? If not, are you not allowing anyone to drink said beverage around him?
Good point.
How about super spicy foods?
Yeah.
Question mark. You're the asshole.
Okay.
Yeah.
So people are agreeing.
Yeah. So I think there's a pretty big consensus that, you know what?
Like you need to tell your child no.
Exactly. Kids need to be told no. Like this is like real life. You're not going to get everything that you want.
Yeah. I think the only reason why at first I was like not sure because I feel like the reaction is like kind of strange from like the dad and the brother-in-law. Yeah. The fact that they were like, oh, like you can't tell me what to do.
They could have handled it a little bit better. They could have just said, hey, you know what? I appreciate there's some concerns there, but we do need to, our son or daughter or whatever, they need to understand that they're not going to get everything that they want. Mm-hmm. Like, and we have to say no to them.
Oh my God. What is wrong with people?
I know. It's crazy.
Seriously. Oh, this is interesting.
I'm excited.
Oh, this is very interesting.
Okay.
Am I the asshole for gifting my house to my stepson instead of my son? I have 2 sons, a stepson, mid-30s, from my wife's first marriage, and a younger biological son with my wife, late 20s. My wife passed away a few years ago and left our home entirely in my name. The house has been in my wife's family for years. It's an old, large, very expensive colonial home that she had long before she ever met me. In the years since my wife's passing, I found myself being extremely lonely in the big, empty house. I decided to give the house to one of my children and downsize to a smaller place of living. I considered which son to give it to and ended up choosing my stepson to have the house. He has 3 young girls, all under the age of 6, whereas my bio son lives alone with his wife and has no children. My stepson and I have came to an agreement where I could stay in the guest suite in the basement and I wouldn't have to move out. It was overall a happy conclusion. Yeah. Much to my surprise, my bio son was extremely upset by this decision. He said that stepson wasn't even related to me. Oh shit. He's pulling that card. And that he doesn't even have full custody of his kids. Oh, he's divorced. Okay. Okay. He was furious with me for choosing my stepson over him. I was shocked by this reaction. I've known stepson since he was an infant, and he and my bio son were raised together in the same house. They've always thought of each other as brothers, and I've raised stepson as my own. I want him and my daughters, his daughters, my granddaughters, to have a good home. My bio son said that he and his wife were trying for a baby and wanted to start a family, and that he'd always planned on raising his children in the home. Am I the asshole?
Ooh. Okay.
I'm going to say no.
Yeah.
But also it's a little
gray area only because, and it has nothing to do with step.
That's the thing. The whole stepson thing is not.
Exactly. That's not even a factor in what I'm thinking of.
They should be both treated as his sons.
Exactly. And this whole, and it's so funny how people do this though. Like,
it's like, oh my God, I'm your blood.
Exactly.
Who the fuck cares, bitch?
Exactly. Especially nowadays, like the households are getting so complicated, and like all of a sudden to pull that card after they've been like they treated like brothers their whole lives.
Oh, I hate that.
And then all of a sudden when
it's convenient for you,
they're like, oh, we're not. Well, he's not even your real son.
Yeah. I'm like, oh my God, literally, fuck off.
The only thing
that pisses me off.
I know. The only thing, and again, it has nothing to do with step or anything like that. The only thing where it's a little bit gray area for me is I just think like you have 2 kids.
Yes.
And you kind of want to treat them as much as you can. Like obviously there's going to be things that you can't be exactly equal and perfect all the time,
Yes.
right? But I do feel like, I even think like
they should have had a discussion.
Exactly. They should have had a discussion, decided how it went. Like maybe if the house was the parents, like maybe figure out how to somehow make it so that the other son also gets some kind of benefit. You know what I mean? Like, because, if I had 2 kids and one of my kids, even if they're biological or not, who cares?
Yeah.
But I gave one of my kids a house and the other one I gave nothing.
Yeah.
Like I can see where he's coming from in a sense that like to say like, I think it's shitty that he pulled I was going to say the race card.
He pulled the biological son card.
Yeah. The blood card.
The blood card.
I think that's shitty and
that's
uncalled
so
for. But at the same time, like if I was in his position, even regardless of the step, I would just be upset to be like, well, like he gets a house, like that's crazy.
Yeah, like why are you giving him the house?
Exactly. Or it could be a discussion to say, hey, maybe we're just letting him and his daughters live here for now. But when I go to sell the house, you guys will get 50-50.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like something along those lines. Like I don't know the whole agreement. It sounds like the dad's still living there. The mom's passed away.
Right.
All of there's so many different factors. It did sound like he said he's giving the house, but like who knows?
Yeah, he's giving the house.
Yeah.
So yeah, he probably could have, and I understand where he was coming from. I don't think he was an asshole again. I think he was just saying, oh, he has 3 like daughters, so obviously he needs like a bigger space.
Yeah.
But again, he probably should have like had a conversation or some kind of agreement where it's like, yes, like once it's sold, like both of you have ownership, like whatever the fuck it is.
Whatever it is, like kind of make it a little bit, because I don't think it's fair. Like if I had 2 kids, I'm not going to give one kid a house and one kid nothing.
Oh, interesting. First comment, you're the asshole. Both sons have the same mother. It says it stays in the family with both. Oh, so I think what he did was, I think one of his what do you say? Like one of his reasonings was probably because his wife had it for years originally.
Yeah.
So he's thinking the son that she had first has the house.
Title. Yeah.
So they're both kind of playing at this like weird, like, oh, biological, like whatever the fuck it is. So first comment is basically like, yeah, you're an asshole. Oh, somebody says, I agree. You are a massive asshole. You gifted hundreds of $1,000s to one son and nothing to the other.
That's my point.
Based on how many children each had. That's disgusting. And I hope your youngest son goes to what goes LC or NC with you. What does that mean?
No idea. No idea.
Yeah. It is weird. Yeah. Like, and it says, yeah, it's really fucking weird. He said they were raised as brothers. They share at least one parent. They are brothers. Oh, that is true.
Yeah.
Yeah. They are brothers. Well, I see what they're saying. I see what he's saying though. Because like they are brothers, they are step.
Yeah.
Like they're not biologically related. Oh, they do have the same mom. Yeah. That's true. They are brothers. Oh, okay, okay.
But one has a different father.
Yeah. But yeah, okay. So, a lot of people are saying you are the asshole for basically like not asking your son. Yeah. I think the reason why we thought he wasn't the asshole is because his son was basically like, I'm your blood child.
Yeah. But I still agree. Like, I think he's the asshole in some degree. Like, that's why it's a gray area.
Yeah.
Whereby it's like, you're gifting one of your kids, biological or not.
That's true. Hundreds of thousands of dollars.
It's like that story when we were talking about that family, those parents.
True.
That paid for all their biological kids to go to college except their one that was adopted. And I'm like, again, it doesn't have to do with adopted or not. It's the fact that you paid for all of your other kids except for one kid.
Yeah.
Regardless if it's blood or not, they're still your child. And it's not really fair if you're like, especially like a house is, we all know, hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yes.
And you're gifting that to one of your kids over the other one.
That's true.
That's not fair.
That's true. So maybe like a kind of an asshole.
Yeah. Yeah.
Again, I don't think he thought about this. It sounds like he didn't think about this.
No.
He was like, oh, it's just, maybe they're super fucking loaded. And he's just thinking, oh, it's just, I'm just looking for someone to live with.
Exactly. It's hard to say because in this situation, it's like we don't know everyone's financial situation.
Yeah.
Because maybe the younger brother and his wife are loaded. Do you know what I mean? Like maybe they have really good jobs and all this stuff. And the other son is like in and out of jobs and trying to raise 3 daughters. Like we don't know the whole circumstance.
Yeah.
Either way, I think it's still not great to give one son like a $400,000 house and the other one just be like, oh, sorry.
Yeah. I guess it's different if he was like, oh, do you want to just live in this house? And it's still my house.
But you can live for free.
But he's saying like, I'm going to give this house.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Yeah. Okay. Everyone's saying he's the asshole.
Yeah. Interesting.
It is true that they should have consulted. He should have definitely
100%.
consulted.
He should have at least had some say.
Yeah. And then some people are saying like, you're not treating him as an equal because he doesn't have children yet. That's true.
Yeah.
As soon as they have kids, man, I'm telling you.
Am I the asshole?
Ooh.
Am I the asshole for being incredibly mean to my neighbor? Okay.
Okay. Let's do it.
I'm a
Neighbor drama. Love it.
I'm a 30-year-old female. Not going to go into detail, but my nephew, Luke, 10, has very angry and aggressive behavior. I know what's going on with him and am working on it. I have custody of my nephew, and I know I said we're working on it, but it's really fucking hard. I love him to bits, but I think I've cried more in the past year than I have ever before. My neighbor is convinced that I have to be more strict and discipline him better. That's really not the case, but I simply tell her that I'll keep her advice in mind and try to avoid her. But yesterday was one of my harder days, and I had confiscated one of my nephew's toys until he calmed down. It was a superhero action figure. Went out on my porch for a breather while he napped, and I didn't realize that I had brought the toy out with me. I was sitting on the steps, and the toy was next to me. My neighbor pops out of nowhere, and after telling me that the kid needs more discipline for the 100th time, she grabbed the toy. I was so confused, and I asked if I could have it back. She told me that he and I will be better off without it. After all, actions have consequences. I told her, I told her that I don't care, and I'd like for her to give the toy back. She patted me on the shoulder and said she knows it's hard, but it'll work out in the end, and was going to walk away with it, but I ended up yelling at her. I said, oh my fucking God, give it back to me or else I'll call the police and tell them that you, a 60-year-old something lady, stole from a little kid. She gasped and was like, I am not 60-something.
Do the voice.
Okay. I am not 60-something. I'm still in my 40s. Keep in mind, she still has the toy.
What?
Yeah.
What is the story?
I just went, you look 60 to me. I shit you not. This woman starts crying after throwing the toy back at me. She calls me incredibly rude and ran into her house. Her partner called me later to apologize, but asked if I could apologize as well, since what I said was pretty rude. I told him I'd think about it. Now I'm wondering if I'm the asshole for how I reacted. I did exaggerate her age to insult her, which was pretty mean of me, but she literally stole the toy and refused to give it back until I did. Am I the asshole?
No. Not the asshole.
God damn, Rose.
I think her neighbor's fucking annoying.
This is true.
She needs to be put in her place.
Oh, God damn. The 6-year-old woman.
I mean, I don't know. Like, first of all, like, is it your business? Like,
well, this is the thing. I think the lady next door, obviously her neighbor, is, and I hate when people do this, when they get too involved in other people's stuff. And it's like, well, hang on a second, guys. Like, this is actually none of your business. Like, you know, unless it's disturbing you.
Exactly.
Like if my kid is like running into your lawn and you're getting pissed off.
Or they're being too loud.
Exactly. But it doesn't sound like that was the case. Like he has anger issues, but it doesn't sound like the neighbor was complaining about that part.
Yes.
Maybe we don't know the whole story, guys. So maybe there was some noise that was translating and the neighbor's getting pissed off, whatever. But again, it's like,
to steal the toy is weird.
It's crazy.
That's just insane.
It's like nuts. But you know, like just because somebody's older or whatever, doesn't mean that they're necessarily in the right. Like, do you know what I mean?
No,
like,
of course not.
Yeah. And like so many people are agreeing. They're like, not the asshole. What kind of grown woman tries to steal a child's toy? Keep doing what you're doing. Luke might not appreciate it at the time, but as an adult, he'll probably look back and be thankful for you.
Yeah. You
don't owe her a goddamn thing. Tell her to stay the hell out of your business and don't speak to her anymore.
Yeah. She sounds a little like cuckoo in the head, you know? Is everyone saying not the asshole?
Yeah, pretty much everyone. Everyone's like, not the asshole, not the asshole. I had an interesting neighbor drama happen.
Oh, recently?
No.
Okay, tell me.
This is while I was in Spain.
There's always interesting neighborhood drama.
Oh God, always.
What happened?
I've had some really weird household situations. Anyway, so I was living in Spain.
Yeah.
Well, during it was all during COVID and whatever else. And this is so really crazy. And the place that I was living in was a little bit rough around the edges.
Yeah.
And the landlord was also crazy. So I'm doing my laundry, and my laundry washer was in our kitchen. So I had gone around and I was in the living room area, just sitting there. I think I was on my laptop, just watching Netflix or something and just chilling, waiting for my laundry to be finished. all of a sudden there's like a frantic knock at the door.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, what the hell's going on? So I opened the door and it's my neighbor who lives just the house below me.
Yeah.
And she's like, I don't know. She was like in her 60s.
Are you sure, Daniel? Are you sure she wasn't in her 40s?
Well, if she's in her 40s, like, I don't know. Anyway, she starts freaking out and is like yelling at me.
In Spanish.
Yeah, in Spanish. So I can understand some of it, but like a lot of it when she was like, I was like, what the fuck's going on? And then she was like, kept going like this. And I was like, what is going on? So we went into the kitchen and my washer had like broken.
Oh, shit.
And there was like water all over the floor.
Oh, so it was leaking into her apartment.
So it leaked into her apartment. So I quickly was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. You know, trying to like mop things up and do whatever. So I'm like throwing the towels down and everything. And she's still there just yelling at me. And so I turned to her and I was like, in my broken Spanish, I said like, I'm just going to clean this up. Then I can come help you.
Yes.
Like I can come help you clean your place. I can. And she's like, no. I was like, okay. And then she like went on about how like the water had gone into her kitchen and like ruined what she was cooking or something.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, like you can take some of my food if you want. Like, I don't know what you want here. Like here's some bananas, you know, like I was like, take some shit. Like, I don't know. And she was like, no. She was being so difficult. And I was like, I get it. I'm really sorry that this happened.
Uh-huh.
This isn't my fault.
Yeah.
I haven't deliberately done this to you.
Yeah.
And I kept offering her. I was like, I'll go help you. I'll do all this stuff to like try to rectify this situation. And she was so difficult and just kept yelling. So I just told her to get out of my house. At that point, I'm like, get the fuck out. Like, what?
How do you say that in Spanish?
I can't remember now. I'm pretty sure I can't remember what it was said.
Oh my God.
I think I just said out, you know, like this. And at that point I was like, I literally looked.
Did she take your bananas?
No, she didn't take my food. She didn't take anything. And I was like, and she kept talking about her food and how it's been ruined. And I was like, look, I'm really sorry.
There's nothing I could do.
There's nothing I can do. Take some of my food. I can cook you something. Like, what the fuck do you want?
She probably wanted you to give her some money or something.
I don't know, maybe. And she was just like yelling. And I was like, I'll go help you clean.
Yeah.
Like, I'll do whatever, you know? And she was just such a...
Oh my God. Like, what are you supposed to do?
Exactly. So anyway, she did leave and I started cleaning it up. I think she came up a second time just to yell at me again. And at that point, I just slammed the door in her face. I was like, this is crazy.
Maybe she was just mad because you called her a 60-year-old woman, you know?
I didn't say it. I didn't say that. And then the best part, though, about this whole situation, I called my landlord. No, I text him. I was like, hey.
He was also crazy.
He was so crazy. And I was like, hey, can you like get us a new washer and dryer? Because like this just broke and it leaked into the basement below and like, or the house below. The woman was really pissed off. And I just said, just to let you know, like, I'm going to, like, this needs to be replaced. And then at first he was like, well, you know what's really enjoyable and therapeutic? Washing your clothes in the shower. And I was like, okay.
Oh God.
Yeah. And I was like, well, maybe for some that's therapeutic, but not for me.
Yeah.
That's not why I
would
rented
like to
this
have
place.
the option. Thank you very much.
I would like to have the option.
I was promised a washer and dryer
and
or a washer.
Yeah, exactly. And he kept going back and forth on this. And then finally I was like, look, here's what we'll do. Don't get us a new washer because we literally lived like on top of a laundromat, which was super convenient.
Oh, okay.
So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to go to the laundromat and whatever I pay on the laundromat, I'm going to deduct from my rent.
Yeah.
Fair
and then
enough.
did he get a new washer?
Yeah, he was a very sketchy landlord. So I think his like cousin came or somebody and it was like a used, like another old ass washer that showed up.
Was he Spanish?
No, he was, I can't remember what his nationality was.
Didn't he randomly come into your apartment and just sleep there?
Yes. Oh, I get that. This was really crazy, guys. I was like literally, and it was funny because me and Rose, I wish I still had the video footage. We were Skyping.
And then he would just randomly come in?
And the couch went across and there was a door here that usually was locked. So I never went in there. It was like a small like kind of storage area or whatever. So I didn't think anything of it. So I'm just like talking to Rose, had no idea. All of a sudden the door opens and he climbs over the couch and walks out. I was like, what the fuck?
Oh my God.
Didn't tell us that he was there.
Yeah.
Just showed up and stayed at the house. And he used to do this. Like he would come stay at our house for like a week. And
oh my
then,
God. I would be livid.
I know. It was the weirdest fucking thing. So he'd come stay for a week. Then he would disappear and be gone for like a month and then show up for like another week. And I think what he was doing, because like his dad, I think was quite wealthy and left him like a bunch of rental properties.
So he probably just like takes turns in each property.
Because I think he doesn't have a permanent residence.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it was weird. The whole situation was so weird. And then he was like, half the time he said he was an engineer and he was just Wild. And I asked my roommate, because my roommate actually knew him from before.
Yeah.
I was like, where did you meet him? And he was like, oh, he was selling chestnuts at the local market. And I was like,
What?
This guy is the most random person. Like literally, he was like, and he kept saying about how spiritual he was. And it was the weirdest. Honestly, guys.
I'm pretty sure we have an episode on our Patreon about our living situation.
Oh, yeah, we do.
So check that out, you guys.
Yeah.
Let's do one more. Am I the asshole?
I love it. Let's hear it.
Am I the asshole for refusing to un-recline my seat on an airplane after a mother with her child asked me to?
Was it hitting close to home? No, I'm just kidding.
I had a 15-hour flight. Oh, shit. 15 hours. Long ass flight.
That
That began at 8 p.m. and had been planning to sleep throughout the flight to help the time go by, as well as catching up on some sleep after traveling for 24 hours. Makes sense. On the flight, there was a mom, dad, and a child that was about 3 years old, older than the under 2 limit for a child to sit in a parent's lap for free, for sure. Okay, so I guess if you're under 2, you can just sit on your parent's lap and it's free. Okay. Yeah. So throughout the first 2 hours, the child kicked my husband's and my seat, stood up on their parents' lap to grab my hair. Let me calm down for a second. And pull on my shirt and shoving the papers in the back of the seat in between our seats, poking us with the papers. Occasionally, I got a break from the child kicking me when she switched to her father's lap, though at that time she began kicking my husband's seat. We remain quiet as we know it is probably difficult traveling with children. First of all, don't remain quiet. Finally, when the child was sleeping, about 4 hours into the flight, I decided I too could rest. I reclined my chair about 3/4 of the way, not fully, but enough to be comfortable for my sleep. But since the child was larger than the normal under 2 years old for lap sitting, it wasn't as comfortable for the mother. Immediately, she tapped on my shoulder, asking me to move my chair up so she could be comfortable. And I'm sure having a child on your lap is not as pleasant, especially when they're larger and on a long flight. I don't know if that's a dig on their size, but I, however, remained in the reclining position as I felt that I had put up with her child, making me uncomfortable for hours and preventing me from sleeping when I was in need of it. However, in doing so, I made the mother more crammed in her seat as she needed space for both of them. But I thought her child had her own seat.
No, it sounds like they were just taking turns putting the child on the mother and the father's lap. That's what it sounds like. Oh. And that's why they keep saying that the child seemed like it was too big to be
older than the two.
Yeah, because normally
if
they're under 2, they can just sit in your lap.
Right.
But she's saying this kid was part of the
reason. So the child didn't have their own seat when they should have.
Yeah, that's probably what should have happened. Yeah.
What do you think?
Oh, as someone that has had this kind of experience before,
Not the asshole.
Not the asshole. So hear me out on this one, guys. Again, I'm not a parent. I don't know what it's like flying with children.
Yeah.
But first of all, if a kid is grabbing my hair, doing all this stuff,
I'm shocked she didn't say anything.
I would have said something.
Yes.
I really 100% would have.
That's too much. Like a little bit, I guess.
Yeah, like
fine.
a little bit,
yeah,
like a little bit's
kick,
fine.
It's okay.
Like sometimes they'll do this.
Yeah, and I think it's cute.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I'll like say hi to the kids. Like it's cute.
But if they start pulling my hair, poking me through the seat, all this stuff, I'm
shocked she didn't say anything.
No chance. I would actually say something.
And the audacity of the mom to immediately go, excuse me. Come on, dude.
I know. Cause then in my, I also wouldn't have put my seat back up.
And also that's your right to be able to do that. Like,
exactly.
It's not, I'm sorry. Like you should have got a seat for your child then.
Exactly. Why are we, this is the thing where I look at this story and I'm like, I get it. It's hard traveling with children and everything else, but like, why would myself that is also on this same flight for 15 hours.
Paid for that flight. Why am I having to accommodate other people because of their situations, like right next to me, you know what I mean? Yeah.
And of course I am somewhat accommodating, but like
especially if the child was kicking my seat and shit.
Oh my god. So
I'd be pulling that all the way back.
Oh. It's so annoying. I actually not recently, I was flying to Canada or back to London. I can't remember, this like a while ago. And we'll go back to that story in just a second.
Yeah.
But I basically actually I had a really nice seat right next to the window. And the way this plane worked, it was like 2 seats, 3 seats, 2 seats, right? So I had the one in the window. And as I walked towards my seat, I was like, oh, this is weird. Like, I'm pretty sure that's my seat, but there was somebody sitting in it.
Yeah.
And right away, the person, and this is going to sound really bad on my part because I'm never doing this again. And I was like, looked, and there was a guy and this girl there, and the guy was in my seat. I said, oh, I'm really sorry. Like, that's my seat. And he goes, oh, do you mind switching with me? Because I want to sit with my girlfriend. And I said, because it was his girlfriend or whatever. And I was like, you know what? That's fine. Okay, where were you sat? And he was sat really close, like maybe just 2 seats in front in the 3.
Did you check where he was sitting first?
I didn't, no.
Daniel, always check
I know.
first.
I should have done that.
That's rule number 1. Like, I don't mind switching if it's equivalent.
Yeah.
But if it's, I'm sorry, if I paid for an aisle seat or whatever seat or a window seat, I'm getting that seat.
Yeah.
I can accommodate to some degree.
Yeah.
So you didn't check.
So I didn't
and you
check.
agreed.
And I agreed.
Oh,
I was like,
you're
yeah,
too
sure.
nice.
Like, I'll do. But if this never happened again, by the way, guys, that nice streak of me on planes has ended. Okay.
You've been burned too many times.
I've had like some woman put her foot right next to my shoulder on my armrest. It was on my armrest.
I am shocked.
I was just sat there and all of a sudden there was
Do
a
people
foot there.
live in their own world?
I don't know.
Okay,
anyway,
continue.
it was crazy. So anyway, I go to sit in this guy's seat and there was a really sweet lady that was sat there and then she had her like young child.
Oh,
right here. So the young child falls asleep or is laying down.
So this is like a lap situation.
No. She actually got a seat for her.
Oh, because you're in the center.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I was on the.
You're in the center of the plane though.
Yeah.
There's 3 seats.
Exactly.
Sure.
So I'm on the aisle seat. The baby's between us, the child.
Sure.
Then the mom's on the other aisle seat. So
Also, I'm sorry. Like, on a side note, the audacity of that couple to already be sitting in that seat.
Yeah, and they were already sat there.
That's fucking annoying.
Yeah.
You know what? Actually, just because he did that, I probably would have been like, no.
Yeah.
Sorry, because you're not. Usually, what you do is you sit in your original seat, and then you can ask somebody.
Of course.
Or like or whoever's sitting there, your girlfriend's sitting there. Your girlfriend can ask the person, "Can my boyfriend sit here?"
Yeah.
You don't immediately sit on that seat, making it more uncomfortable for you to move.
Exactly.
And then ask.
I know.
Oh, continue.
It was annoying. Anyway, so I'm trying to like sleep. It was like quite a long flight, and this young girl.
The baby.
Well, she wasn't a baby. I think she was probably like 3.
Oh, the worst age.
I know. And she was pretty well behaved for the most part. Like she was like with her mom and whatever else. Oh, but she was like, she would like lay and then just be like kicking and
kick
like,
you.
yeah.
Oh, goddamn.
And the mother kept being, I'm sorry. And I'm like, this is like getting really annoying. And it was just like, basically.
Why didn't they move? Like, why didn't they switch?
I should have asked them.
Because like that's probably what I would do if I was a parent. Because
Yeah.
I would be mortified.
I know. This is the thing.
This is what
like,
I don't understand about some parents.
Yeah.
Because I think most parents get mortified.
Yeah, but some don't. And and her daughter would only occasionally kick me, but it was like a point where it was getting annoying.
Yes.
Like, it was like I was like trying to sleep, and then she would be like kicking me here.
Oh, God.
And I'm like, okay, like what the fuck? And I should have just said, hey, do you guys mind just swapping seats because your
Yeah.
daughter keeps kicking me?
Yeah.
But then her daughter would be out in the aisle. I don't know. Anyway, it was a long thing. So 2 things I learned from that is number 1, and that was back in my nicer days, because it was years ago.
Before you've been burnt.
Before I've been burnt so many times on planes. There was another instance where I moved seats and it also caused some drama, and I'm like, never again. I'm gonna tell people, because like you don't always pay extra for your seat, right? Like you get assigned a seat, right? But what I'm gonna start telling people, because if you want to request a seat, usually you have to pay extra.
Yes.
I'm just gonna, like, in that situation where the guy was there, next time I'm just gonna be like, look, I'm really sorry, I paid extra for the window seat.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have to move.
I mean, you shouldn't even have to say that. You should just say, no, sorry, this is my seat.
Exactly.
Like, sorry.
This is already my seat.
It's already my seat. Yeah. Like, you shouldn't have to explain yourself.
So there's 2 things I would have done that. I would have, first of all, not moved, so I wouldn't even have this. But if I had moved, I would have just told the person next to me, like, do you mind? Sorry, like, I totally appreciate it, but like that your daughter's young.
Control your child.
Can you guys switch seats, because I really don't want to be kicked for this entire flight.
Why? But like, also, like, I get that the parent apologized, but also like, can you not tell your child to stop kicking?
Oh my god, it's like one time.
Like, it's so fucking annoying. You can tell your child no, people.
Yeah, one time. Oh my god.
What is
I had this table come in.
When you were serving?
Yeah, and their kids. Oh my god.
I fucking hate when people bring their misbehaving children to restaurants.
And they were so. I've never seen a table like this before. Like, their kids were basically having a food fight. Like, there was like pancakes and shit like stuck in the seats. No. It was. I've never seen the whole
and
table.
And the parents are just sitting there.
Yeah. And then
that's the worst.
They went to leave, and the dad was like, he comes over because he was obviously a bit embarrassed, and he goes, "I'm so sorry." And I look over at the table, and I was like, I'm sure I didn't hide my face.
Yeah.
Because he's like, "I'm so sorry." I look over, I was like, And on top
Did
of
he
that,
tip you?
No, they didn't tip well. It was like a shitty tip, and I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me right now?"
No.
And even one of the hosts went over there to clean the table, and she was like, "What the fuck happened here?"
I would be so fucking pissed.
And the thing is, they weren't even young kids.
Oh,
They were like probably 7 and like
that
10.
fucking pisses me off so much.
And I was like shocked. I was like, guys, like, why are you letting your kids
That's the thing.
grab pancakes, throw it on
I
the
get
table?
it. Kids are
put it under
difficult, but at
here?
least try to discipline.
Yeah.
Because, like, I get it. Like, I've seen situations where kids are being difficult, but at least if the parent is trying to discipline them,
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I understand.
Well, you only know it's only going to get worse.
But when they just fucking leave the kids just do whatever the fuck,
Because they just don't want to
I'm
deal.
like, oh, they're going to be a fun teenager to
Oh,
raise.
yeah, and a fun adult.
Yeah.
A fun adult to interact with in your everyday life.
Oh, wow, that shit pisses
But yeah,
me off.
I think in this situation, definitely not the asshole. I think
Yes.
you know what? You showed patience and you were understanding already that they have a child.
Yeah.
By like not freaking out at them pulling your hair and doing all this stuff. Because I wouldn't have freaked out, but I would have said something. I would have been like, hey, do you mind not having your son or daughter like pulling my hair? Like,
Yeah.
I'm trying to rest, and then I'm sorry. If you you bought your seat, like you paid for your seat.
Yes.
If you want to have the seat back and rest,
Yes. You are entitled to
You're
that.
entitled
and it
to
doesn't
do
go
it.
way back. It's not like it's like fucking laying on your...
Exactly.
Like, calm down.
and if you're not having enough space in there, then that's on you. You know what I mean? Like, sorry, but like if you're deciding to have your child, instead of buying them a seat, they're sitting on you. I shouldn't have to pay for your choices.
I cannot even believe. Someone wrote, not the assholes. You had me at a 15-hour flight.
I love these.
And then it says, not the asshole. From the age of 2, a child should have their own seat. It's even required by law by a lot of airlines. So if the parents did not arrange that and the airline did not enforce it, it's on them if their seat is too crammed with a parent and a larger child in it.
Again, it's their choice to do that, right?
Mm-hmm. I mean, someone said it is possible that the child was under 2, but still, like,
Yeah.
well, then control your fucking child.
Exactly. It doesn't matter.
Like, I'm sorry. Like, what the fuck?
And again, if your child is, great, you're bringing your child, they're flying for free and stuff, but it's not the responsibility of the other passengers to not enjoy their flight experience or not recline their seat, for example.
Even if the toddler didn't bother her.
Exactly.
I would still say that.
Exactly. Because it's like, that's your experience. Just as you're entitled to put your seat back.
I know. It's so fucking annoying.
That's where I'm like, well, where do you get off saying like, you can't do this? Like, sorry, like, this flight's for everybody.
15-hour flight. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
You're going to really ask me to not recline my seat? Fuck off.
Exactly.
Put your child on the ground.
Yeah. I'll be like, I'm really sorry. If it was like a 2-hour flight, maybe. But even then, it's
No, I'm sleeping. Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry, I want to sleep. So
Like,
yeah.
no.
And plus, her child was like kicking their seats and all this stuff.
That's the part where it's like, listen, again, if that didn't happen, maybe I would be nice, and not that you're inclined to.
Yeah.
But you could maybe be like, okay, fine, like I'll just whatever. But like, if your child is kicking me and like fucking.
But honestly, like people are in their own world.
Oh.
Another quick story before we
finish.
Yeah. So going back to like this woman that had the child, it's funny, like her child's disrupting this other person's seat, but as soon as somebody like is in their space or disrupting them even the tiniest bit, it's like, get out, what are you doing, like, can you not do this? So I had a similar thing happen with a neighbor. One of my neighbors years ago, guys, this is years ago, one of my neighbors, I'm not going to say where, when, who, why,
London?
no, well, I'm not going to say where either.
Okay.
But it could have been London, but basically neighbors were one of those like really toxic couples. Okay. Really,
Fighting
really
all the
toxic.
time?
And not just all the time, at like ridiculous hours.
Right.
So like I'm talking 2-3 in the morning.
Yeah.
My bedroom at the time was like facing their backyard.
Yeah.
So like it was like they were next door.
Uh-huh.
And there would be like yelling and screaming matches at like
Oh my
2 or 3 in the
God.
morning on like a pretty consistent basis.
Yeah.
Right. So just keep that in mind for the story. So that's been going on. Now, my parents went away.
Yeah.
And
so clearly you're outing where this was. Uh-huh.
Kind of. But this comes to the story, and they had mentioned to me, like I was looking after the house, and they said while they're gone, if I could like mow the lawn.
Sure.
So I was like, okay, cool, yeah, I'll definitely do that. But me being me, and I was like younger at the time.
Yeah.
Forgot about it for a while, and then it was like maybe a day or two before my parents were coming
You're
back.
like, I need to mow the
I was
lawn.
like, fuck, I need to do this.
Yeah.
And I had that realization at maybe, I don't know, 9:00 at night.
Yeah, not crazy late.
It wasn't crazy late. It was like around 9:00, and I was like, maybe it was 9:30. The 9:30 would be pushing it, but it was like between 9 and 10.
Sure.
And I was like, oh shit, I really need to mow the lawn. And it was like summer, so it was still quite bright out anyway.
Yeah.
So I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna do it right now, get it over and done with. So I start mowing the lawn. And it's not like a lawnmower is like, it's noisy, but like it's not like
insane.
Yeah. Right? I'm not kidding you. I had like just started it and I'm like starting to mow the lawn, and my next door neighbor comes out. Absolutely loses her shit at me.
Oh, really? They sound like they have anger issues.
Oh yeah. She was like yelling and she was like, how dare you? So I like turned to her and I was like, honestly, it's 9:30.
Yeah.
I'm going to finish mowing the lawn. And I'm like, how dare you? I actually said this to my neighbor because I was so angry. I was like, how dare you? I've been up at like 3 a.m. from you and your husband's fights. So
I'm so glad you said that.
And then she was like, I can't believe you would even say that. And then stormed back into the house. She had the audacity. So she called my parents. Yeah, when they got back.
No.
Yeah, called my parents and was like,
that fucking bitch.
Yeah. And then I explained my parents the situation. So my dad actually called her back and was like, gave her a piece of his mind a little bit.
Yeah.
And she actually apologized.
Good.
Yeah. But I was like, but again,
yeah.
People are so quick to be like, oh, what they're doing, they don't realize how that impacts other people. But as soon as somebody's impacting them, they're like, whoa, how dare you? The audacity. And it's like, I haven't even complained about your fucking 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning fights. I've said nothing. Yeah. Okay. I've literally to this couple have said nothing. Yeah. And I mow the lawn at 9:30 at night and you're going to give me a hard time. One time. Oh, I was so angry.
I would be so mad.
Oh.
Anyway, on that positive note.
Guys.
I hope you guys enjoyed this pre-recorded episode. Let us know if you want more Am I the Asshole episodes or any other subreddits we should react to.
Any more lazy content we should do.
We should do. Anyway, guys, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already. Thumbs up this video. And of course, like us and follow us on all of the podcast platforms. And what else, Daniel?
And also, if you're not already, check out patreon.com/the SaVeg podcast. We have exclusive content there for our Patreons. We have episodes a week earlier than the public. Everything on there is ad free. And also you get access to our big, huge library of exclusive episodes now, guys. So you get free access. Well, free access. It costs $3 a month. $3 a month. And you get
starting
access,
at $3 a month.
Yeah, starting at $3 a month.
And then every month we do a bonus exclusive episode only on Patreon.
That's right.
So yes, thank you guys so much for listening, and we will talk to you guys next week.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.